Hello guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the Free Hammers, episode 124. 30 subscribers away now from 3,000. Thank you so much for all the comments last week. I think we got 50 likes, which is brilliant as well. Obviously it's international break, mate, but obviously there is quite a bit of news floating around. So that's where we'll start, I think. Say Benrahma, mate. Looks like it's very close, and I don't want to jinx it because I really want him.
I've been saying for how many weeks, mate, that we ain't going to sign anybody, sign anyone significant, and I still don't think we'll sign anyone, mate. I don't think he's going to sign. It will fall through. I don't think it'll happen. If I'm wrong, fair enough, but I can't see it. The fact that we couldn't even buy Dawson, I can't see it, mate. I can't see it. And King as well, Josh King, I don't think either of them will happen. We'll see.
Yeah, it looks like King will possibly go to Everton now. It's a shame. We'll start with King, actually. Talk about King. I think you mentioned him last week, didn't you? I'm sure you mentioned him last week. I would have liked him. I would have. Out front, on the left-hand side. Someone put on Twitter, mate, actually, I read on Twitter after you spoke about last week. In 5 years in the Premier League, he scored 48 goals. Who else scored that many goals in the Premier League for West Ham? Over 5 years. See if you can name that person.
How many goals?
48 goals over a 5-season period.
48 goals in 5 years?
Yeah.
At West Ham?
Yeah.
Is it Antonio?
No, mate. It is Paolo Di Canio, mate.
I was going to say, I couldn't think of anyone recently who scored that many goals.
Yeah.
Do you know, the reason I say Antonio is because he would be...
He's close. He is close.
I think King would be a really good backup to Antonio. We said this before.
Ray,
like
same shape.
Haller, I really like Haller, and I want to see Haller playing alongside Antonio. But if Antonio gets injured and Moyes wants to stick with his same system, Haller can't fill that role, but Josh King can. So, but like you say, mate, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to sign anybody anyway. Hello, Jack. Hello, Neil.
Good evening to everyone.
Hello, everyone joining us in the chat.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. About the club cash. We'll come back to that, Kent. I will come back to that, mate.
Yeah, I don't think we'll sign anyone. I see Jack says there he thinks Benrahma is close. We've been close for how long, mate? Like how long we've been close? He's been available for sale for months. Yeah,
I know, but I think if he does come off, I think West Ham have played quite a blinder with it in terms of, we've waited until that last minute of the, championship window to put more pressure on Brentford to sell. It looks like it's more or less done. He was on international duty last night. Medical is apparently today or tomorrow.
I don't know. We'll see, mate. The thing is, as well,
pull it off. It's amazing. It's a fantastic signing.
I disagree, mate.
I think that's a fantastic signing. Probably the best player in the championship.
In my opinion, right, you have to put it into context. Is he a fantastic player? 100%. Would I love us to sign him? 100%. Do we need to spend up to £30 million on him when we've got so many other positions need filled? Why did we sell Grady and loan out Felipe Anderson to bring in basically the same player? This guy is basically the same player as Felipe Anderson. I don't see the reasoning behind it. If we'd have signed a centre-back, a centre midfielder and a backup striker, and then we went and signed Benrahma, mate, I'd be dancing around the room. Like, unbelievable signing, fantastic. We don't need him. If Moyes carries on playing the system that he's been playing, where does he even play?
It is true, and you've got valid points there. But for me, it's one of them. If this is a David signing, right? This sounds.
I think this is a Sullivan signing.
Yeah, a Sullivan signing. Yeah, there's two Davids, obviously. Yeah, if this is a Sullivan signing, then this is really going to go against the grain, obviously, because I'm GSB out. I think the opportunity to sign him, such a good opportunity. I think you have to take it. In terms of, yes, we do need a centre midfielder, potentially need a left back. If the opportunity comes up to sign a player of that quality, I think you have to take it.
Again, mate, I think you're right.
Because look at Maddison. Boys turned down Maddison for 5 million apparently. How much is James Maddison worth now?
Yeah. No, I agree. That's the thing, mate. Like I say, I agree in principle. But we don't need him. We sold players and loaned out players that are basically the same player as him. It just seems I don't understand. Like Moyes, it seems very clear, right, that our priority, the whole transfer window, was to sign a centre back.
Centre back, yeah, centre back.
Seems like that's been the priority. We wouldn't pay the money for the ones that Moyes wanted. Sullivan, on record, came out, did that interview, and basically said, "Oh, the targets that Moyes wants are unrealistic. We can't afford him." We end up loaning Craig Dawson, which is, let's be realistic, a joke of a signing. And then he goes and spends £30 million on a player that we don't need, doesn't play in Moyes' system. I don't understand it, mate. I agree he's a fantastic player. And I'll be happy if we sign him. And I hope he plays and I hope he plays well. But I just don't, it's not what we need. We don't need to be spending that kind of money on him. And I don't think he'll sign anyway. So
yeah, mate. Until I see him on a shirt for tomorrow or Friday, listen, anything can happen in football.
When does the championship window end?
Friday at 5 o'clock.
That is this Friday.
Yeah, Friday at 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Plenty of time for it to go wrong, mate. Plenty of time for him to come out and go, "Oh, look how close we were. We tried so hard."
They're probably
will pay his loyalty bonus.
They're probably really scared at the minute, the fact that they might actually have to spend the money and transfer it over.
Mate, do you remember that actually? Do you remember that happened? I can't remember who it was that we signed, and we put a bid in and we changed it. And I think Sullivan was like, "Oh Christ!" They actually accepted the bid, and we tried to pull out.
And the club Carvalho or someone like that.
No, because we tried to pull out, and the club threatened to sue us. So we had to go ahead and sign a player. I can't remember who it was. Anyone in the chat, in the
if you remember
comments, if you can remember, I can't remember what player it was. But we do you know it might have been? It was Sacco. I think it was Sacco.
Maybe.
Jaffa Sacco. I think it was him. And we put the bid in, and it got accepted. And then we tried to pull out, and his club threatened. His club threatened to sue us.
Yeah, actually, it does ring a bell. It does ring a bell, actually.
So, he's been there before. Like you say, he's probably sweating, thinking, "Oh no, I'm going to have to actually spend this money." But we'll see. We'll see what happens, mate. It's only a couple of days to go.
We are going to jump in the comments in a minute, guys. Just bear with us a bit more. But if he does sign, although we don't need him, like I say, mate, you've got to admit that he's very, very exciting.
He is. Where does he play?
No, it's a valid question, mate. It's a valid question.
He's going to look fantastic getting 5 minutes off the bench every week, mate.
The only way I see him playing again, I'm not a Funnels. Funnels should be starting every week. Like that team, that current 11. You can't change that current 11 at the minute. It seems to know all its roles. The only way I see him, the formation I see it is Antonio sort of as a deeper centre forward, and Owen and Benrahma playing as inside forwards. So they're not wingers, they're more inside with a centre forward sitting there. So he's not quite a cam, he's a deeper striker.
I agree with that, but then you have to change the whole formation and the whole system. And then we have to go back to playing 4 at the back, and we haven't got the players to do that. We haven't got a good enough left back and right back to play.
That's right, mate.
Because we managed to fail. Yeah, we've got a good right back now, but we haven't got a good left back that can play 4 at the back. I don't know. That's what I mean, mate. Like, I think this is obviously coming from Sullivan, because it completely goes against the whole thing that Moyes is trying to do. And I've been slagging off Moyes, no doubt, but at least he's found a system that he likes and he wants to stick to, and he's found a system that's working. So we're going to spend massive money signing a player that doesn't even fit into that system. I don't know. It seems crazy. Crazy.
Agree. And something I was saying on the train, actually, to my mate who's a West Ham fan. I was saying, this is back to if you had a director of football, and you're looking beyond Moyes, look, football pleases me more if Moyes wins all the games and he stays there for 5 years, whatever. A director of football would be going, right, okay, so at the moment, Moyes is playing a 5 at the back, what players can we buy? What manager can we look at? Plays 5 at the back, so you get that fluidity. Again, it's all this scattergun. The next manager, they'll probably go for an attacking-based manager again, rather than going, actually, this manager likes to play 5 at the back. He will slot in perfectly. Again, it's buying players that's like Klopp and Brendan Rodgers. They're quite similar in their styles. But yeah, Craig Dawson, though, mate, I know you touched on it a little bit. Listen, there's nothing against him. And
No.
I think one of the best ways that it's been summed up, again, by the other Stam channels, is he's a ESP out, sums them up sort of thing. Sums them up signing. Got a lot of shades of Roger the Relegator Johnson about it.
Yep.
I've got to say. So he's coming as a fourth choice centre-back at the end of the day. He's not. If he starts 10 games this year, it'll because we've had a crisis at the back for me. Yes, it's very underwhelming when you've got Alessi there who could, he can play the fourth choice centre-back.
Baptiste,
yeah. Let's be honest. Is he actually going to play many games?
No, probably
going to
not.
Be Diop. No, Diop's still got to go back in at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is Cresswell going to play left centre-back the whole season? Who knows? He's been quite good there. But as he see it, as Diop, Buena, on the left.
I agree. I think the problem is, mate, and again, nothing against Dawson and, like you say, fourth choice centre-back, but we've seen how easy you can end up in trouble. Look at what happened when Fabianski was out, and then, obviously Rodrigo turned out to be an absolute disaster, and all of a sudden we're playing Martin, who's a training ground keeper, in goal in the Premier League. We're never that far away from it. But I think the biggest problem is that seems to have been a priority position. You would assume from Moyes, for whatever reason, he was looking at spending 20, 30 million on a centre-back. He obviously wanted to bring in a big centre-back, and instead we've loaned in a
I don't think he fully fancies Diop as well, to be honest with you. I could be wrong because that's going on 2 good results, but maybe he doesn't fully fancy him. Anything else, that sort of transfer? What about the Anderson? Obviously, since then, Anderson did go out on loan.
Expected.
Needed as well.
I think so. I think it's good for him, good for West Ham. Obviously, he's made comments since saying that he'd be happy to play for West Ham again, but not under David Moyes. It seems he had a big falling out with Moyes. So I suppose, if you look at it like that, fair enough. He has to go. Might as well send him on loan, put him in the shop window.
Yeah.
He either comes back. At the end of the season, Moyes might not be here, so he either comes back or we sell him on, whatever happens. Do you know what I mean? But again, to me, I know we're going to go into the comments. I'm scanning the comments, but
I'm going to start right at the top with Kent Hammers when we do start.
To me, Moyes didn't trust Anderson. He saw him as a luxury player.
He didn't do the running at the end.
Neither does Benrahma, mate.
No. That's
what I mean. He's coming in, and he's basically the same player as Felipe Anderson.
Anderson wasn't doing anything attacking wise in the end either, though.
No, he wasn't. But what I'm saying is that Moyes didn't want that kind of player. He didn't trust him. He weren't playing him on the left. Instead, he was playing Masuaku or Fornals on the left-hand side. So even if Benrahma does come in, especially if it's a Sullivan signing, not a Moyes signing, and I did read that Moyes wants King, Sullivan wants Benrahma.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me at all, mate, if we signed him and Moyes just left him on the bench. He's obviously shown he don't mind doing it because you've got Allaire on the bench.
You've got Anderson, $100 million worth of players.
And it wouldn't surprise if he did it just to say, well, all right, mate, you're going to sign players that I don't want. I'm not going to play them.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Okay, right. That's enough for the transfers. So, lads, what do you think about the club cash offer for season ticket holders? It's just another way of them keeping the money in the club. I don't agree with it. You should be able to take your cash out whether you want it or not. Got anything to say on that, mate?
No, I can't say I've looked too much into it, to be honest with you. So I couldn't say too much about it. I don't really know. I don't really know too much about it. I know our mate Bowden texted me about it the other day, and I had a quick scan, but I couldn't speak on it too much, to be honest. Lee would be the one to talk about that, but obviously he's not here.
You got more chance of getting bloody Alad Canio on the show. We need King and Benrahma, but can't see both happening. King would be fit for me. Benrahma is not a Moyes type signing. Good. Shouldn't have got rid of Cullen. Yeah, Cullen would have been a good centre midfield, just to cover, and maybe would have got his chance this year. You can't expect Rice and Soucek to play all the games this year.
No, that's the thing as well. Again, talking about, I know we're trying to move on from transfers, but that's the thing as well. You know, if Souček or Rice does get injured, all of a sudden you're bringing Noble in.
Yeah, or Snodgrass.
Yeah, and it's we are so like that. I don't know. I don't understand the whole Benrahma thing. But anyway.
Says I've always thought Fornals could slot into centre midfield if Rice or Souček right out. Fornals offers a good work rate, box to box, and Benrahma on the left. Yeah, Fornals. I don't think he's as tough in a tackle as them, but certainly he could definitely play the deep lying playmaker role, which Lanzini did really, really well a couple of years ago against Tottenham.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, if you're looking for a deep playmaker, yeah, 100% he could fill that role. But if you're looking for a replacement for Rice or Souček, he's obviously not the man. You know, he's not physical enough. Yeah.
I could see him playing against the teams that sit back a bit more. I think we'll struggle to break them down. Only fits in Fornals' place, and Fornals plays deeper. You wouldn't drop Tom and Dex, certainly wouldn't. Antonio will get injured at some point. We'll have to create a new attacking system. What about that, mate? So Antonio gets injured. Would it be a typical Moyes project of let's try and sell Benrahma into a striker?
I don't know, mate. That's you know, like I say, that's why it seems like Moyes wants King, because King can play both roles.
And he's very good as well. He's
very good player. And if Antonio gets injured, he is a like-for-like replacement. He can slot in and do exactly the same job Antonio's doing. And it seems like that's why Moyes is pushing.
Man United wanted him, didn't they?
Yeah, that's
last summer.
That's why it seems like Moyes is pushing for King. And I said it last week. He would be a perfect signing for us. I really think he would be a perfect signing for us. But it seems like Sullivan's set on Benrahma.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, and I know it sounds like I'm really slagging it off. I'm not. Benrahma's a fantastic player, and I'd love to see him at West Ham. But he's not what we need right now.
Yeah, I did read this, actually. Did you read that? I think we got Dawson because we was owed compensation money from Watford. I did read that. I think he fancied Fabian for last. I did. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think. I went to the game just before lockdown. I think it was. Balbuena was absolutely shocking. The ball away loads of time. I think it was a cup game. Yeah, definitely didn't play for a while, and then obviously seen Balbuena, you know, to that sort of best the last couple of games and what he can do. Hopefully it carries on. Sufyan says, I hope you're well, as you can be in this environment. Rama is a great signing. I remember when Pitch didn't want to sign Antonio, and he started on the bench for the first 5 to 10 games. When he started playing, he was scoring for fun. It's true. This might be the same with the Benrahma. Yeah, nice thought. Evening, lads. Just on the stream, I see Sky and they are advertising the Leicester game in office. Outrageous. We are going to go on to that in a minute, mate. Benrahma is a great signing, and he will start. Things are good.
Go back to that, mate. Go back to that.
Mate. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, Sofian. I've got to pull you up here, mate. Things are good so far. Based on what? What are you basing that on?
No, surely no.
Things are good. Benrahma is a great signing, and he will start. First of all, I don't think he's a player that we need. I don't think he'll necessarily start. I don't see where he fits into this system. Things are good so far. I don't really get that. People need to support the club. 100% support the club. Give GSB credit when it's due. For what? For signing players that the manager doesn't want. How'd you give him credit for that, mate? I'm sorry, mate. I have to disagree with you there. 100% support the club always. Support the players on the pitch. If Benrahma signs, yeah, mate, I'll back him all the way. And I want to see him play and I want to see him scoring goals. He's an exciting player to watch. He's a player that we love, that kind of player at West Ham. But I don't think you can give Sullivan credit for signing players the manager doesn't want. I don't know, mate. Sorry.
no, mate. It's good that, so you know, it's nice to disagree. Do you know what I mean? It's good to get the opinions going. I think a left wing back and centre midfielder are priority backup positions. I don't understand a Benrahma signing, providing considering we don't play Wiggers. Yeah. West Brom in Cup, he was awful. Yeah, was obviously a winner. I thought Moyes only wants first team starters. Benrahma would surely be a squad player on team's current form. On the current form, yeah, no one's dropped ball at the moment. You know, those two performances, all the players were, you know, at least 9 out of 10 some 10 out of 10s. Last thing on Benrahma for me is he's the player that I wanted to sign most right at the beginning. I've said it, for a long time. If someone said there's one player you can sign, Luke, for West Ham this window, who would it be? And it would have been said Benrahma. I agree, with Paul's points about he don't go in and stuff like that. But as I say, I think the opportunity to sign a player of that quality and potential resale value is too good to turn down if it does come off. I really do. Again, you can, hit me with a stick or whatever.
No, mate, I'm sure.
Out on so many opportunities by these players. Who knows what Benrahma's going to do at West Ham if he does come? He could be potentially worth 50, 60 million pound if he plays anywhere near the level that he's played for Brentford.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. And I think, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people will agree with you. I actually think it's probably going to be quite split between the fan base over that signing. And like I say, I fantastic player, not knocking that.
Well, it could be the next. They keep saying the next Adel Taarabt, who was Megatrix, one of the best players on FIFA back in the day. Actually, didn't. His attitude was disgusting. Like that. That's the only fear I have with Benrahma is he could be sensational for 2 years. Any hint of a move comes Arsenal, Chelsea, and he'll be like, "Here we are, I'm gone." No, we'll see. We'll see. Have I missed one there? Yep. So she says Benrahma under Pellegrini as a manager would have been great. It doesn't suit his style. Okay, one more. Right. The next one I wanted to talk about. So it was touched on a little bit there about the pay-per-view game, Leicester, charging $14.99 for games, and we'll sort of touch in with the project. Was it, or the project, or whatever it's bloody called? What do you make of any of that, mate? Start with the pay-per-view games. I think it's an absolute disgrace to ask people to pay $14.99 as well as the Sky and BT subscription. Yeah.
Yeah. It's far too much. And they're just being greedy. I think for as far as paying it as well as a Sky subscription, I've seen a lot of fans that are not, fans of Man United, Man City, Liverpool that are on TV every week. They're saying, well, they might as well just cancel their Sky subscription now and just buy the games individually. So for some people, it might work out right, but it's far too much money, mate. Far too much.
Fiver. I think if it was a fiver, like you play what, 4 games a month, 5 games a month. If you're asking someone to pay £20-25 a month for a reliable good stream HD, yeah, I would consider that. £25.
And there's so much they could do with it if they did it properly, but it's just greed, mate. It's just greed. If they and don't get me wrong, I think this might come eventually.
Oh no, it will definitely will come.
And there's other problems about they shouldn't really be doing this anyway because it takes away even more from getting fans into the ground and all the rest of it. For someone like me who doesn't live anywhere near, I don't live in the country. It's fantastic. I would love a subscription service to be able to watch all the games. If they did an online season ticket, say they charged £150 a year, right? And if you look at services like Amazon, Netflix, even the likes of the NFL do it, the NBA do it, WWE do it. If they turn around and said £150 a year, you get all the games that are not on Sky or BT, and you get these other programs, you get this backlog of games, you can watch old cup games, you can watch highlights games from past years. Imagine if they did that. Imagine something like anyone who watches wrestling, if they did something like the WWE Network, which has got all the past matches and all the rest of it. If they did something like that for £150 a year, I'd be all over that.
Even 240, I was just doing the maths there. So 240 is £20 a month. That's reasonable. It's reasonable for Premier League football, and you'll get to see all your games home and away. Now that would make an absolute fortune as well. Absolute fortune in Asia as well. Imagine Asia, like the Asian market, and America. What about this then, mate? So the actual name of it is
Project Big Picture. Well, it's been thrown out today.
good, because that just stink of slime and keeping the rich clubs rich.
It's funny. There was an emergency meeting today, and it got thrown out. All the clubs voted against it. The Liverpool and Man United owners who came up with it weren't even at the meeting. But yeah, it has been thrown out. It's not happening. But touching on it, there was a couple of ideas, and I said this to you at the time, mate. There's a couple of ideas I actually quite liked. If I wanted to be positive at all about it, yeah. Dropping the league to 18 teams, that's harsh, but whatever. But I did like the idea they had for the new playoff system, where 2 teams go straight down, 2 teams come straight up, and then they had a playoff between the 3rd bottom team in the Premiership and 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the Championship. I thought that would be quite exciting. I like the idea of that, and the fact that the team 3rd from bottom in the Premier League, they get one more chance to sort of save himself. I think that could be quite exciting. I quite like the idea of that. But the whole, and this is obviously where it all fell down and where it gets really sleazy, was the whole voting thing. So they basically wanted to give all the power to the top 6 clubs.
Yeah, and then the 9th, like we was in it, weren't we, for some reason?
We were in it, but it was token gesture, mate. And I saw someone say this, and they hit the nail on the head. The only reason that the likes of West Ham was mentioned and given special status, it doesn't mean anything, because if you actually look at it, even though we'd be one of the 9 clubs, part of the thing was they only needed 6 clubs to vote for something for it to go through. Yeah. So it's irrelevant. It's still the top 6, and the top 6 could then just vote. They could just say, "Oh well, now it's only us, and they're out." All vote for it. But the only reason they did that was to stroke the likes of Sullivan's ego.
Of course it is, and then if it's West Ham won't get relegated, then
we'll keep try and get him to vote for it. But that was dodgy as anything. That was I really didn't like that. And the biggest thing was that they could then veto any potential new owners.
Yes, so, I did do that. Yes, to try and stop the Newcastle things happening.
Yeah, exactly. So then, if you've got a team,
kills the dream.
Yeah, 100%. If you've got a team that's like sort of lower half of the table, that all of a sudden it looks like they're going to be taken over by massive money and they can compete, the top 6 would just go, no, we're not having it.
It's the worst. It's really bad idea. What I don't like as well, back to the streaming thing slightly, because that was mentioned in there as well, about giving clubs the opportunity to sell their own rights. Problem with that is a team like Manchester United, God knows their audience, say they would get 10 million subscribers, each paying £20 a month if we're going on that figure. Stan would probably only get what? 100, 200,000 people that sign up, and then that disparity in money then keeps the rich rich. That's where it needs. If they ever do launch it, it has to be Premier League Flick or Premier League Prime or something.
I think that's the problem, mate. I don't think it's ever going to be possible because, on one hand, I kind of agree with it. So if you were Man United, if I owned Man United and they did this system, and I was bringing in tens and tens of millions of subscribers, I would then be saying, well, listen, I'm the one who's bringing in all these subs. Why am I not getting the main share of the money? I think the only way it would work is if they did it individually, let clubs keep their own revenue, but then they would, like I say, it would only be games that are not currently on Sky or BT. So they'd still have the TV deal. I suppose then you might have clubs pulling out of it because they wouldn't need it. I don't know. But if they still had the TV deal, then the other clubs would still be getting some revenue from that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's difficult. It's a difficult one to work out.
It's just, again, it's the disparity in money. But that's where I don't see the fairness. But the only other thing about sort of around that sort of thing, I don't know if you read the Arsene Wenger interview. Obviously, he's sort of head of FIFA and stuff there. Just one I wanted to throw out there. He's saying about he'd like to get rid of throw-ons because it's unfair to the attacking team have won it. So it's unfair to the team that has won the throw-in because then they only have 10 players on the pitch. And he would prefer it that you sort of have a kick on the sideline. So it's like a sort of free kick on the side.
I kind of see what he's trying to say, but it don't really work because if you've got like, what's the difference between someone taking a kick and someone taking a throw?
Yeah, again, I don't know. I just wanted to put it out there. I thought it was quite an interesting little.
It's interesting, but do you know what I mean? Like, if you take the throw in, you're immediately on the pitch. If you take the kick, you're immediately on the pitch. I don't really know what the difference is.
Yeah.
But
Emma said I wanted Watkins. Will Benrahma be our pip we needed right now? That's what I love to see. An Arnautovic kind of guy roaming around the pitch causing havoc. Hope so, mate. Hope so. NFL Network, NBA, WWE, and UFC Game Fight Pass worked fantastically. £5 maximum would have been enough. Season ticket holders should have got a free stream reward. They should have, mate.
Yeah,
that is a way they could have got around it as well. Here in Oz, we have Optimus Prime Sport, around £10 a month. Every Premier League game, Champions League game, UEFA Nations League games, classic matches, Premier League show. That's amazing. £10 a month.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's what you want.
Time
to get my VPN on the go.
They take advantage because it is England. It's England sport. You know they can charge more. I think Liverpool and Man United owners are softening everyone with shock therapy so they can boy for a greater control soon. Potentially, mate. I said Gonzo at least 6 months ago, clubs should be looking to provide their own streams, and I told it was dystopia by another viewer. I didn't quite understand what he meant. It's good for people who can get Optimus. Where I live, we can't get. That is a shame. There's a couple of people talking about that. So, Cheesy says selling our own TV results. Selling our own TV rights will result in a Barcelona Real Madrid situation in the English Premier League. The league will need to create its own EPL network. Liverpool, Man United. That's true. That's exactly what I was saying. If the Premier League run it, and then the money got dispersed, and then there was a reward for, if you win the league, obviously you get a share of that. There needs to be sort of balance it. It would make it a better competition as well. Big clubs wouldn't like it. For clubs like West Ham, Leicester, Wolves, Everton, that want to someday get there, would definitely make it a better competition. But even the people in the FA, they know Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City now potentially, and even Spurs, they're the ones that sell the money. So then it's not in their interest for other clubs to get better. Speaking as I don't like this new football stuff with overpaid players and greed everywhere. It's unfortunate. It's just the top six trying to buy the league. It is, mate. At the moment, you can get more distance, therefore way more set pieces instead of throw-ins. I get what you're saying, yeah. So that's about the throw-ins. Right, I want to finish by about 2:15 if we can. Next thing on my agenda, mate, was obviously our cup final, mate, this weekend. Big game. What do you think, mate?
Really looking forward to it, mate. Really looking forward to it. Obviously, West Ham, Tottenham, regardless, we say this every year, regardless of form, regardless of anything, it's one of them games where, Luke's away. It's one of them games where anything can happen. Anything can happen. And I think the form, I don't even know, like, why I'm talking like Luke's still here. But anyway, I think the form that we've been in recently, 100%, we could do something. I don't know if you heard any of that, mate. I was talking away like you were still there, but
sorry, mate, I didn't know.
Yeah, I sort of.
My daughter wanted me to put a bow on a Barbie.
Well,
that's why she knocked on the door.
It's important stuff, mate. It's important stuff. No, I'm saying, like, form goes out the window. It's one of them games where every year anything could happen. Anything could happen. And we are in form at the minute.
Sorry, they don't, mate. They're coming off the back of a 6-1. Obviously beating Manchester United 6-1. Jose sort of hinted that Gareth Bale will make his debut. So, guys, listen, that 20 quid and put it on Gareth Bale anytime, because it is going to happen. Listen, we may see said Benrahma come on, or Josh King, whoever, or no one. Craig Dawson might come on up front. But it's one of them games, isn't it, mate? Like you say, form goes out the window. If we turn up and play with the same passion, same energy, same game plan, and we have that counter attack. We can get at them. Look like we've got goals in us at the moment as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be? Actually, let's talk about them. Who do you like from Tottenham? There you go. I know it's a hard one.
He's an absolute dirty scumbag, but Son is an unbelievable player.
Unbelievable player, mate. Unbelievable.
He is an unbelievable. He's probably the most underrated player in the league. Genuinely, I think he's the most underrated player in the league.
I'd be very surprised if Liverpool don't go in for him when Bobby Firmino goes. I can see him playing in that Firmino role when he goes. A big fan of him. Obviously, Bale. I'm a big fan of Bale. I hate the fact that he's back at Tottenham. I'm very jealous. He's a fantastic footballer, mate.
Mate, I remember when he was at Tottenham before.
I hated him.
He was he is such a good player. Every year, I used to wind up anyone I knew that liked Tottenham and say, "Oh well, don't worry, he'll be off next year. He'll be off to Real Madrid next year." I've been saying the same thing about Kane for the last 3 years as well. But it's a shame. It's great to see him back in the Premier League. Shame to see him back at Tottenham.
Yeah. Wonderful player, though. Wonderful player. Obviously, Harry Kane, his day hurt anyone. I do like Lucas Moura as well. I don't know how much he's been playing this season, but I do like him. Big fan. Ndombele looks a bit of a player as well. Obviously, I do watch a bit of the France games as well. He looks like a real player. When he's on the ball, he's got lovely feet. Really, really good feet. Weaknesses for them. Eric Dyer just looks awful all the time. I hope if he's playing centre back the weekend, he will give Antonio will give him an absolute nightmare this weekend. Their goalkeeper's a very good goalkeeper, obviously, as well, Lloris. But us, mate, who can be our key player on the day? I think Antonio for me. I think if Antonio is in the mood, and he always is against Tottenham usually, I think we can hurt them.
I do, mate. I think the key things, like you say, if Antonio's on it, he'll give their defence nightmares. We need Ogbonna to have another game like he did against Leicester. If he can keep Kane in his pocket, happy days, because Kane loves to go against us.
Good test for Kofu though, mate. Kufal.
Yeah, it is.
Will be with Son. Obviously, I assume it's going to be Son running it in, or at some point Bale. It's a really good test for him again this weekend.
Yeah, it is. It'd be interesting to see how they hold up to it. I actually think if we stick with a 5 at the back, that could work quite well in nullifying Son and Bale if he plays.
Yeah, and then you've got Rice and Sojek obviously there to cover the middle. It becomes quite hard to break down. Yeah. Anything else, mate? Anything else on the Tottenham game?
I like I say, mate, it's one of them games. Anything could happen. Just the way the games have been going this season, we could see lots and lots of goals. I think we've got a chance, mate. I really do. If you'd again, we said this before. If you'd have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said, "Oh, absolutely no chance. We're going to get battered." But there's definitely a good chance there. Definitely a good chance. If I had to put a prediction,
2 seconds. Go carry on, mate. Go back.
If I had to put a prediction on it, I don't know. I think I'm going to say big scoring game, 3-2. 3-2. And I'll have to tell Luke again when he comes back. What about in the comments? What's your guys' predictions? I see Jack asking Lawrence 3-1 win. That's a big prediction, mate. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. A 3-1 win would be absolutely lovely. Who scores the goals? Who scores the goals in a 3-1 win? I think Antonio definitely gets on the score sheet. I think Bowen actually could have a good game as well.
What's predictions then, mate?
I was just talking with the guys in the chat, mate. There you go. So
do apologise, my wife was ringing.
Lawrence is saying 3-1, 3-0. Oh, wow. 3-0 loss. Yeah, 3-1 win, 3-0 loss. I think Neil's got a good shout. 2-2. That's a good shout.
I think I'm going to agree with him actually. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say 2-2. I can't see us not conceded, even though kept 2 clean sheets recently in the Prem. I think it will get tested. I think Bale will score. To be honest with you, I've just it's like it's written in the stars. Do you know what I mean?
What if we dare to dream, mate? what if this is just one of them games like the last 2 weeks? Everything clicks.
Everything clicks.
And we put 4 or 5 past them.
Oh, mate.
Can you imagine?
Oh, my God. Listen, next week's our 125th show. What a way to celebrate that. If that was to happen. Yeah, so that's the Tottenham one. So, like I say, we haven't got long. We've been talking about our best teams and stuff. Someone in the comments last week said that's when they switched off, but we will do a little quick bit. So, for anyone who don't know, we've been making our best Premier League team. We've got Schmeichel in goal at the moment, Ashley Cole, Rio, Van Dijk, Trent, was it at right back?
Trent at right back. Was it? Did we put Van Dijk? Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah, Rio, Van Dijk, Trent. Yeah.
Yeah. So today we're going to do our centre midfielders. Yeah, mate.
I just realised it's quite annoying because we've got quite a few Liverpool in there already.
No,
I'll just throw one out there straight away just for a shout.
What, Gerrard?
No, Javi Alonso.
Good player, very, very good player, but not in my world, not in my 11. You've got Scholes, Keane, but Fat Frank. You record.
If you're going to go for like
De Bruyne,
Frank, De Bruyne, obviously. Yeah. It depends what you're looking for, innit? If you're looking at attacking midfielders, if you're looking for defensive midfielders, Vieira, you've got like Kante. Recent years is in there with a shout. What about if you're thinking sort of West Ham players that could be in with a shout? Joe Cole. I know he's
probably played one player of the year. West Ham.
I don't know if there's not. Yeah, like I say, apart from sort of Parker, Joey, I don't know if there's anyone else there. Big sort of centre mids. What about Mark?
Carrick or whatever.
Oh, Carrick. Yeah,
I suppose you could Carrick in the conversation.
Carrick's a good shout. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough one actually, and I think we'll disagree probably on most of this. I don't know. Like you guys in here are saying like Vieira. I think Vieira's fantastic. Scholes is brilliant. Scholes and Keane. Frank. Yaya Toure.
I was just going to say Yaya Toure. I just had a quick butchers there. Fabregas. David Silva. Yeah. What a player.
I hate going modern all the time because it's just like it's fresh in your memory. I know we've already mentioned it, but I think Kevin De Bruyne has to go in for me.
If we're going to go,
Kevin De Bruyne has to go in.
If we're going to go 4-4-2, all right, if you're putting in De Bruyne, I think I'm going to have to put in Scholes.
Yeah.
Scholes and De Bruyne.
Very similar though, aren't they? It's the only thing that, like, together they might be too far forward. They're not defensive minded, are they?
They're not, but if you're talking about pure ability, De Bruyne is probably the best midfielder in the world.
De Bruyne is the best midfielder I've ever seen.
De Bruyne is probably the best midfielder in the world right now.
People like that.
Yeah, but Scholes, from football.
What about Paul Gascoigne?
Gaza.
The thing is, he's a bit before our time. I know we see him Euro 96, but again, we're only 11 years old then. There's no denying Gaza was, best English footballer ever. Gaza has to be in the conversation. Chris Harris just put him in. That's what sort of sparked my opinion there.
What about, where did Letitia play?
Yeah, he was sort of that attacking midfielder role as well. And fantastic player.
There's some big players. Big players. If you're going, like I said,
KDB has to go in, and again, it's controversial because them names are fantastic. I'm leaving out, as much as I hate him, I'm leaving out Fat Frank, I'm leaving out Gerrard, I'm leaving out Scholes. I know you're saying about. I'm leaving out Vieira, who was part of the Invisibles, that didn't get defeated.
The Invisibles.
The Invincibles. Yeah, the invisible team. That's why they never lost.
I agree with Kent there. Scholes' most underrated England midfielder of generation, he was wasted by England because they kept trying to force him in. Same as when you had like Frank and Gerrard, they couldn't play in the same team. Peter Beardsley. For me, mate, if you're going De Bruyne, I'm gonna have to say Scholes.
Again, we've gone really attacking.
Hey, can you imagine the passing range?
Oh my God,
can you imagine the passes of those two in midfield together? Oof.
KDB is the best is the best, one of the best players I've ever seen. He's an absolute joy to watch. The passing, shooting, and he does work as well. I'm discrediting his defensive work rate, but the guy, if you put in his pressing, he's just sensational, absolutely sensational footballer. One of my favourite players to watch as well. Okay, so just quickly, mate, on the world ones and legend ones. Listen, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. But we'll throw a few. Let's just throw out a few of our favourites then, rather than trying to pick one. That's like, so I obviously have to go Zinedine. Zinedine's an obvious, centre midfielder. He's
probably the best player I've ever seen.
The most graceful player ever.
Probably the best player I've ever seen. Pirlo.
Yeah, Pirlo has to go in, mate.
Pirlo,
if we're 100%. Talking about just beautiful passer of the ball. At 36 years old, he made a young England team, just look like nothing.
Like you say, Xavi, Iniesta.
Xavi and Iniesta, just the best two combination, of our generation.
Mm-hmm. Busquets, probably the best defensive midfielder of our generation.
Clarence Seedorf.
Oh,
if you're thinking of players like that.
Ronaldinho, obviously. Obviously.
Yeah, what a player. That's a player. Yeah, Iniesta, Zinedine, Ronaldinho. I'm trying to think now. Rivaldo. Ooh. What a player he was. What a player. Deco, what a player. Modric.
Modric, yeah.
What a player Modric is. I know, ex-Tottenham, but what a player.
No, he'd be in with a shout for the Premier League one as well.
Yeah, we didn't even mention him for Premier League. Yeah, Christian Eriksen as well for Premier League. There's so many wonderful players that have played in that position. Just unbelievable footballers. Makaleli, if you're talking defensive-minded ones, probably the best defensive midfielder ever. Oh, Kaka. Yeah.
Kaka,
what a player.
That era, I know, kind of biased because that was the sort of our sort of golden generation. That kind of era of your likes of Ronaldinho, Kaka, your Zidanes, Ronaldinhos. Unbelievable! What an era of football.
Oh, mate, just pure class and quality, wasn't it? Just it is all these names like in a West Ham chat, like Ronaldinho, Modric, Kaka. Yeah, I think that's it, mate. We've been going 45 minutes. I don't want to go on too much, and I think we've kept it nice and settled. Unless there's anything else, mate, that's bothering you.
No, mate, it's all gravy. We're all good.
Yeah. Thanks for joining in, guys. Chat's really kicked off. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Get this out to your mates. As I say, 30 away from 3,000 now. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. 125 shows, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to
say something now.
Yeah, I was going to. Yeah, I just went through it back to our mate Sofian, who made the comment, who I disagreed with earlier. He didn't comment again after that. Don't feel bad, mate. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion.
No. Listen, that's a great thing about football, isn't it? We're not all going to agree. Right, guys. Thank you so much. Nice and early this week. Get back to your weekend. Get back to FIFA 21 or watching some crap on telly. That's what I'm going to be doing as well. Right. On your words. Keep believing. Let's go.
Cheers.